Hi everyone, hopefully you can see and hear me all right. Welcome to today's Lunch and Learn Live. It's Jo here. It's always a few moments while we're waiting for everybody to arrive. Time to get a cup of tea. It's Earl Grey as usual after lunch on a Tuesday. To be fair, it's Earl Grey after lunch every single day. So yes, hi Jean! Yay, we have someone here with me. Hurrah, hurrah! As you're arriving, please do say hello in the comments box there and let me know where in the world you are. It's always really nice to see who I'm chatting to see Jean's little cross stitch of tea time. Hi Alison, good to see you, my love. Oh, I like your picture too. That looks like a very nice piece of art. I wonder what piece of art that is. Hey Simone, there I am. Yes, sorry, I was a little delayed. We had Playdate Central this morning, so I was just rapidly getting some food into me with the kids, and got up here a little bit later, and then my mic didn't work, so I just had to do a few little resets and find some microphone that does work. Yay! I think my computer just gets confused when I'm moving between things. I've been doing a lot of filming this morning, so the microphone was talking to something else. Anyway. Good to see you. I can see Rachel. Hello, my love. Jean is home doing the ironing. I think it's quite meditative doing the ironing. I like ironing. Enjoy it. Debbie says, hello, how are you? I'm very well, thank you, Debbie. Up in cloudy Norfolk. Caroline. Hello, my love. Good to see you. Remy from Glossop in Derbyshire. I like that name, Glossop. I'm very well, thanks. I'm actually feeling good. I have done some deep replenishment over the recent weeks, and really starting to feel back to my good self again, which is good. Important. Sheila's on the Isle of Skye. Hi, Sheila. Good to see you there. Emma's in Surrey. Kathy, good morning and good afternoon. Yes, it's early where you are, aren't you, Kathy? You're, let me remember, Michigan, Minnesota. It's got an M in it. Can't quite remember which one. Hi, Laura. Good to see you. Rachel's saying it's damp in Lincolnshire today. Washing and gardening done. Woo! Good job. Good job, team. I have been filming and oh my God, had one of those parenting fails this morning where I had arranged for a play date for James, and I thought we'd arranged because the kid's mum was busy working, and I thought we'd arranged for him to come here. And then I was trying to organise another play date with another kid that James hadn't seen for ages. So I said, oh, well, why don't we have them both here at the same time? Then I realised actually what I'd arranged with the first one was that James was supposed to be going there. So I had organised James to go to a different house and another kid to come to our house at the same time. It was not going to work. So a bit of a last minute reorganisation. Clearly the juggle is becoming a little bit too much. The mental burden of playdate arrangement. Now that we can finally have some play dates, I'm feeling the pressure to get my son to see his friends. I'm going to take that off today after my little chaos catastrophe moment and just space a little bit more. It's a little bit mad and bonkers. Yes, Michigan, I got it right, Kathy. Woohoo! Excellent. Excellent. All right, my darlings, let us talk. Let us talk. And today I want to talk about something which I think is critical for us to talk about in terms of finding our center as we re-emerge from lockdown. And I saw a funny little thing on Facebook today about the relative importance of various things and over the last 3 months. And coffee had a constant line across on this graph that I saw on Facebook. Alcohol started low, shot up, and continues to escalate, according to the graph. Sweatpants, tracky dacks, as we would call them in Australia, jogging bottoms, as you would call them in this country, had a low requirement, has escalated and maintained high. The one that I really like, face masks. Whoa. Anyway, as I was looking at this, it made me realize that a lot of us, because we haven't had people coming around to our homes, because we haven't been getting out there, because of all sorts of hundreds of thousands of reasons. Many people haven't worn a bra for 3 months, and that's totally okay. There's no judgment here at all. And what I've noticed for myself, and what I'm noticing in some of the coaching, is that by moving into this place where we haven't had to do anything for others, many of us have delegated creating a sense of beauty or pleasure in our lives, beauty being the visual aspect of finding pleasure in things around ourselves, or things that bring us pleasure, have fallen off the bottom of everybody's list. It's just fallen off the bottom of everybody's. Well, not everybody. Some of you may have been great. Some of you may have not been so great. But I wonder to what value we've given these things of beauty and pleasure. And what I've noticed with a lot of ladies I've been coaching lately is that in an effort to survive one of the toughest juggles many of us have ever had to do in our lives, we have relegated things like, making ourselves feel good by combing our hair, putting a bra on, whatever. Maybe a bra on doesn't make you feel good, but but making ourselves feel good, or making ourselves feel good by arranging our space nicely, or creating a flower arrangement for ourselves from the garden, or getting out and absorbing beauty in nature. Things like beauty and pleasure have been deprioritized because many of us have a very challenging relationship with these concepts, whereas either one, we think they're shallow, or two, we think that when there are other things in the world going on, like a pandemic, like global climate change, like human rights issues, that we shouldn't be giving any attention there. So the first thing I want to do is check in with you guys. Where are you at with regards beauty? And I don't mean do you think you're beautiful or anything. I mean by surrounding yourself with things that bring you joy. I guess all of it comes down to pleasure, right? Where are you at with pleasure? Give me a read on that from you guys. I'm noticing with the coaching that we're doing in our Lead the Change programs at the moment, and we've got our Replenish workshop coming up this weekend, and people are just on their knees. And as I'm digging in, a lot of people have not been doing those things that bring them joy, that bring pleasure, that bring beauty. So for you guys, let me know, where are you at? Where are you at? Do you resonate with this? Has this been a time where you have been able to give yourself space on pleasure, on beauty? Simone is saying, I'm at -100. Alison is saying, nil. Yes. Catherine is saying, I'm no longer wearing makeup, but I love my wildflower garden. Yeah, beautiful. Lovely. Good. Tasneem says, I must admit I've stopped wearing makeup and sorting my hair, but last week I started to make effort as I didn't want to drop my appearance. Hence, dyed my hair, started wearing earrings and making sure I dress nicely at home rather than wear PJs all day. Alison saying it's more important than ever to have beauty about me. My daily walk by the coast helps a lot. Estelle says it feels like lockdown has been a reset time. Yes, indeed, it has. Oh, interesting. Rachel says, I've just remembered I can share some of these into the live here. Rachel says, higher than pre-COVID because I've had time and space. Yay. Kez is saying, I've been trying to make more time for these things as a boost for myself at the moment. Claire says, there just hasn't been time for it. Full-time work plus full-time mum. Barely time for basic needs, leaving pleasure behind. Jean says, I got immense pleasure today from taking the rubbish to the recycling centre. The pleasure came from the lovely space that it created. Yes. Laura says, yes, I've been fixated on do, and I haven't done anything fun for blimmin' ages. Caroline says, low on pleasure because we had water damage pre-lockdown that couldn't get finished, decorating, etc. So home is disarranged, which is how I feel, with a crazy little face. Yes. Yeah, good. I get it. So that's interesting to hear where you ladies are at. And that's, there's some themes there. For some, it has been time to explore some of these things. For others, we've been doing it in some contexts. And I've heard this a lot, women going out and really slowing down in nature, tuning into the beauty of nature. But what I'm noticing is for a lot of women, there's this hard kind of boundary or a resistance when it comes to actually participating in things which pleasure us, because we start to weigh up pleasure against necessity. Yet here's something that I have also noticed, is that when we do that, we are doing even more. When we ignore pleasure, we are actually ignoring this critical power type, our lover power type. We start ignoring lover power type when we ignore pleasure and beauty. She is the power type that wants us to really create ambiance and beauty in our homes and give us joyous places to sit and to be and to enjoy and soak in. She is the part of us that wants us to tend to our vessel, to our body, to adorn it, to have it feel good, not for other people, but for ourselves, just to adorn our natural radiance. And I'm not saying you have to. I'm absolutely not saying that. I'm saying, what is it that has you engage with beauty and pleasure, right? What is it? Because if we keep doing it when we are so exhausted because we've had to pay attention to so many other things, if we keep doing it because we've had to pay attention to so many other things, we will burn out even faster. So as I mentioned on my Lunch and Learn Live last week, with the efforts of kind of, hosting the community through lockdown, we did our Emerging Together training series. We've launched a new program. We did a lot. And the last, last week or so of that very busy period, I had to call on Superwoman a bit. Don't like it, was conscious I was doing it. But again, a reminder that I had to deeply replenish afterwards, because I did. My executive functioning got to a point where I wasn't able to make great decisions a lot, and I just needed to deeply replenish. And I was coming back to my basic needs, things like, because I've been doing this with you ladies, right? I guess on the one hand, I really get the philosophy. Does it mean I nail it every single second of every day? No way. None of us does. And to the extent that we expect ourselves to be finished, give up now if you ever want to be finished, right? So I was coming back to my needs, and I've been getting good sleep under my belt, getting some time out in nature and walks and doing some meditation and stuff, and getting myself back to center. And I just noticed that there was this piece missing on pleasure and on beauty. I mean, don't get me wrong, I've got some beautiful spaces in my home, and I've been out and I'm getting great joy the whole way through. I've been getting great joy and pleasure from my vegetable garden and tidying up my garden, keeping this space beautiful and going out in nature like a lot of you ladies. But what I hadn't been doing is pleasure, deep pleasure for myself, right? Because something brings me joy. And it felt almost wrong to do inside of it. I noticed it. I wasn't conscious of it, but then as I've dug in, and I've realized that just over this last week, by deeply prioritizing pleasure, not just taking care of my needs, but what actually really brings me joy, juiciness, deliciousness, it's actually rocket fuel for replenishment, right? Even more so than a good night's sleep, in my humble opinion, is really paying attention to deep pleasure, deep nurturing pleasure. So, things that it's looked like for me, and I invite you to explore what things give you that deep pleasure, cheeky pleasure, guilty pleasure. If it makes you feel guilty, maybe even better, right? But things like it's silly little things for me, right? Rather than just taking a bath, I'll often take a bath, but lighting the candles, putting the bubbles in, and playing some music, and just spending some time, caressing my arms in the bath, like really just feeling into my body. Rather than just, brushing my hair in the morning, taking some time to do it, even if I don't have to film that day, so that I feel like I can look at myself in the mirror and not look like the wreck of the Hesperus, as my grandmother would say. My husband has made it so that when you turn our television on, instead of random channels, it comes onto the karaoke channel. I didn't even know there was a karaoke channel, but that has given me great pleasure, singing karaoke. Really sitting in nature. I've been going and sitting by the brook and listening to the water, just doing nothing and just listening to the water. And yes, self-pleasure. Yes, self-pleasure. And these things have made my, kind of, I guess, I don't want to call it recovery because it wasn't like I was broken or anything, but my replenishment phase, just to kind of, everything is about harmony, right? Yin, yang, ebbing and flowing, masculine, feminine, giving, replenishing. So it's just made my replenishment rebalance phase start to speed up more by paying attention to that. And to being a very hard no for a period of time to things that didn't bring me pleasure, right? That didn't bring me joy. If it was neutral, it was okay. If it had to be done, it's okay. But I'm just really been doing that. And gosh, it's made a difference. Reading a good book, little things. Now I know, and so for those of you especially who are super madly busy, Claire, I'm thinking of you, my love, from your thing. And I know we all need those fast replenishment things. I challenge you this week to do what I call hardcore replenishment. And hardcore replenishment is deeply pleasurable, beautiful replenishment. Don't just, yes, get some water into you. Yes, get 2 liters of water into you. Yes, have some good food. Yes, do the basics. But go hardcore. Go hardcore just for a couple of days. Hardcore on things that bring you pleasure. Does a book bring you pleasure? Well, wake up 15 minutes earlier and read your book first thing in the morning before anyone else in the house wakes up. Oh my God, guilty pleasure. Replenish. Right? Does pleasuring yourself sexually, does that make you feel great? Great. Go to bed 15 minutes before anybody else, once everybody else is there, and have some fun. Go do that thing, right? Get out into nature. Does just being and listening to the bird sound bring you pleasure? Sneak out. Put your kids in front of a tablet and sneak out into your garden for a perfect cup of coffee and tune into birds just because it brings you pleasure. I want us to go deep into pleasure. Do you know what I mean? Not just let's get to okay. I think we can get to okay faster if we do hardcore replenishment. And hardcore replenishment in my book is pleasuring, right? Where can we find pleasure? What brings you pleasure? For me, squeezing Rosie's thighs and bottoms. Oh, it's so juicy. It gives me great pleasure. Peach squeeze, as my friend used to call it. And she's, right? Jumping around with my son on the trampoline. It brings me pleasure. It's pleasurable. So I want that to be a catch cry for a week. So, my darlings, I want to know, what is it that makes you feel beautiful or brings you pleasure? What makes you feel beautiful or brings you pleasure? Let's hear from some of you ladies. Let's see what your shares are on this. Let's hear some of these. I'm going to come back and see where you're at to. There, Laura's saying, yes, I think it resonates with regard keeping my house tidy. I'm not wearing makeup, but I don't usually. Putting earrings on, though, does cheer me up. I've barely even thought about beauty, if I'm honest. Yeah. So what does it take, Laura, to just, when you're getting ready in the morning, even if you're choosing to wear your tracky dacks, your sweatpants, or whatever we call them, to put on a pair of earrings that brings a smile to your face, yeah? This is going to nourish you deeply and fast. I know this sounds crazy, but it's an experiment I'm working with this week, and so far, so good. Helen's saying, this is sorceress at play here because I've been talking with my buddy about tending to our places and receiving joy and pleasure. Yes. Yeah, Helen, I get what you say about not knowing what this means and having a huge resistance to it. I think any caring woman who has been indoctrinated since birth and nurturing into paying more attention to everybody else's needs before her own, we can get ourselves to the point where we can take care of our needs, but we always prioritize before our pleasure. It feels wrong, right? But I'm saying here, what if hardcore replenishment, i.e. paying hard attention to pleasurable little micro moments, Small, random moments of luxury, like real luxury. What if that got us back to okay and being able to have an impact on the world faster? What if that got us to robust, resilient, charged up with life force energy to be able to go and do those things which we want to achieve in the world? You know, when we're walking around like zombies because we're so fucking knackered, we're no good to anyone. We're no good. We're no good to to climate change. We're no good to human rights issues. We're no good to race issues. To gender and sexuality issues. We're no good to any of the big stuff. None of it. Unless we're okay. We can't be. So right now I'm kind of exploring and experimenting with myself. What's my fastest route back? Right? Fastest route back to great. And what I'm exploring and experimenting with and finding is working fabulously is pleasure is the inroad. Pleasure, yeah? It's incredible. So, Alison is saying, I'm desperate for my hair appointment in 2 weeks. Yes, Helen was sharing a picture in the community the other day. Yes. Simone says, I have a plan. I adore musicals, so I should be buying a new outfit to wear whilst watching Hamilton on Disney Plus and having some bubbles and a decadent afternoon tea. Yes! Simone, I want pictures. That's it, right? Put on something glamorous. Take the bubbles. Make those beautiful sandwiches, cucumber sandwiches layered up with a lovely, make your beautiful tea tray. Take it in, have your bubbles, watch Hamilton. Yes to that. Yes to that. That is going to intensely replenish. That's awesome. Yay. Sarah has been inspired to contact her hairdresser. That's the way. Yes. Debbie said, I got this. For the first time in ages, my hubby and me sat down and watched Mamma Mia and sang the whole way through. I do Amdram and I've missed singing a lot. Yeah, I can get that, Debbie. I can get that. Helen says, I want to find something different from having food as pleasure, as that makes me look like the lead singer in Sing. I'm not sure what that is, but okay. However, if I could sing like that. So yeah, Helen, think about those things that give you pleasure. Or if you don't know what gives you pleasure, because this is the other thing that can sometimes happen. You can go, well, I know the things that give me pleasure, and yeah, it's food, but it's only food, so I just eat a lot and then I end up not feeling great about myself or whatever. Then if you don't know what else gives you pleasure, try out some things that give other people pleasure. You just might not have discovered it yet. Have you ever ridden a bike? Does that give you pleasure? Have you ever bought a vibrator? Does that give you pleasure? Have you bought sexy lingerie? Does that give you pleasure? Does a bubble bath with the bubbles overflowing give you pleasure? Does a shower, lying down on the bottom of the shower and letting it go over you like hot rain, does that give you pleasure? There's so many fabulous things. So come on, share the things that give you pleasure, ladies. Let's inspire each other, because if we don't know what gives us pleasure, maybe we could steal some of your things and try them out, right? Yes, Claire is saying, a good point. I need to slow down and allow more time for more joy. Well, frankly, even if we can't slow down, just squeeze it in to start with, and you might find that by inserting pleasurable moments in the day, it will space things out. I stood outside a couple of nights ago at my raspberry bush once the kids had gone to bed. It had been a day where we'd been distracted with a bunch of other things. Oh, the caravan. That's right. We did our caravan adventures on the weekend. Bedtime was not a pleasure. Reading my book in the morning in bed with the sun and the birds and all of that sort of stuff, that was pleasurable. But I'm moving past all that. But that night the kids hadn't raided the raspberry bush, so there was some fresh raspberries. I stood at the bush and I savoured every raspberry and I ate all of them, every single one, with no thought for saving anybody for any for anybody else. I ate every single ripe raspberry on the bush. It was so good. Yes. Excuse me. Yes. Great idea. Tracy says, singing Cloud Busting by Kate Bush at the top of my lungs. Yes. Rachel says singing as well. Lots of singing. Caroline says earrings. Oh, yes. Changing jewelry is pleasurable. Yes. Alison says garden and back rub, not necessarily at the same time. Oh, imagine that though, Alison. Take out a lovely blanket into the garden. Take out some beautiful essential oils. Take out a half-naked, sexy partner and get them to give you a back rub in the sunshine, in the garden. Only needs to take 15 minutes. You might want to make sure there's a little bit of time afterwards. Who knows, right? These little windows of cherishing ourselves can make such a difference. Rachel says, going out to fly my kite. Yes. Caroline says, massaging my feet. Yes. Claire says, taking time to cook a really nice dinner from scratch and sit down as a family to eat it with no phones or gadgets at the table. Yes. Lovely. Shira says, walking by the river, 6 a.m. so I have it all to myself. I want to lay down on the grass and read my book, but after 20 minutes, I start to feel guilty. Shira, I challenge you to read your book for 30 minutes this week. Honestly, it's at that edge. It's at that edge where we want to start feeling guilty. It's at that edge where we get the greatest replenishment, right? It's at that edgy piece. It's that edgy piece. Rachel says, sitting in my garden blowing bubbles and watching them float away. Yes! Yay! June says, I haven't floated a cave for ages. I love it. Claire says, a coconut latte and a sit by the river. That's you, my love. That this week. Yes, yes, yes. Tina says, I ride, so time with my horse and friends is sacrosanct each week. I love it. Jilly says, I want to rearrange my lounge room and kitchen. It's exciting. I want to see the lounge room rearranged by next week. Jilly, let's do that. Let's do it. Bernie says, I've got used to walking barefoot as much as possible in the garden. Various brick pathways and grass, also around the house, barefoot as much as possible. How come I've not done this before? I just danced around the kitchen barefoot to my one of many Spotify list. I wasn't allowed the radio as a kid. Well done, Bernie. Yes, yes. That's lovely. Jilly says, I want to find a kite and learn to fly it. Yes! Oh, Irina is giving us a hot tip. A magic wand is so much better than a vibrator. I don't know what that means, but great. I will be Googling it after this. Tina, a TV program all on my own with no interruptions is bliss. Oh, here's a sneaky guilty pleasure that I have sometimes. Sometimes I pretend I'm working. This is especially when my period's on the horizon and I'm really tired. Most pleasurable thing I do, I sneak up here to my office where I've got a sofa and I bring up the iPad and I watch a television show in the middle of the day and everybody else thinks I'm working and I'm really not. Love it. Oh, I should do that. I haven't done that for a couple of months. I should totally do that again. Yes, yes, yes. Julie says, making a comedy spot on YouTube with my very funny friend. Yes, yes. Stefania says, I've forgotten how much pleasure I get from music. Get the music of your childhood. Remember the angsty stuff you listened to as a teenager? Remember the heartbreak stuff you listened to as an early 20? Like, listen to that. Yes. Yes. Simone says, this is pleasurable. Your excitement makes me feel replenished. That's it, right? Well, I'm serious, ladies. You too can have juicy and excitable like this when you pay attention to pleasure. Yes, yes, yes. Irina says, I'm going to the beach with my book and I'm going to read at least 2 chapters. Yes. I love them. I love them. That's beautiful. Yep, my secret is out. Well, this is it, ladies, right? I was clear I needed to get back to me quick and fast. So rather than my usual replenishment, I'm like, what? I've got to go radical on this. And this is, I think, for me, the theme of lockdown, right? I've been really clear, like radical prioritization. Like I've been talking about fierce prioritization, right? Since the get-go. I've been talking about radical compassion, yeah? Being fiercely compassionate for oneself and others. Everything is having this little bit of radical or fierce edge to it. So I've started inquiring, what is radical replenishment? What would radical replenishment look like? And bearing in mind that I can't do my usual things. I can't do my usual things, which are leave my family behind and go for 24 hours and stay, in a little Airbnb by myself and, blah, 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 all of the things. I couldn't do my normal things. So I've had to go, well, what can I do? And now it's these edgy kind of things that are making a real difference. So highly, highly recommend. So this week, ladies, let's do radical replenishment and go for pleasure. Go for pleasure in small, hardcore, pleasurable increments. Obviously, you've got to have spaciousness to have pleasure. You can't kind of squeeze, like, I'm going to go eat the raspberries. It's not like that. Obviously, it's like, okay, I'm going to take 15 minutes and all I'm going to do for this next 15 minutes is stand at this raspberry bush and savor every fucking raspberry. I'm going to squeeze and suck the juice out of every raspberry. That's what I'm talking about. Little moments. I've got 20 minutes for this bath. It'll take me an extra 30 seconds to turn the lights off, a candle on, and play some music. I'm going to do that. Wonderful. So, how does this, who's got a feeling of optimism about the week ahead? Right? Give me a little thumbs up, some love. If just from sitting in the dreaming up of pleasure, you've got some optimism for the week ahead. Give me a little love, a little thumbs up, a little yes, a little something here. Oh no, there's a delay. Here it comes. Yes, there we are, right? If you want to know where your mojo's gone, if you want to know where your juju's gone, if you want to know where your energy is gone, it's out there. It's there and it's waiting for you. It's waiting for you to go after pleasure, my love. It's waiting for you to harness your lover up and go after what turns you on. What turns on your sense of smell, what turns on your sense of taste, what turns on your ears, what turns on your body, what turns on your eyes. Get turned on this week. Get turned on. I want everybody at the end of the call, at the end of this session today, to go turn yourself on in some way, shape or form, something big or small. Oh yeah, says Vicky. Oh, I love this one. Look at these emojis. Yes, Alison. Yes, all of that. If this is feeling resistant, if you need to transform, a little reminder that this weekend on Friday and Saturday, we are hosting our Replenish online retreat. I'll be here live from this room with music. There will be dancing. There will be deep dive learning how to look after our bodies. There will be transformations in the realm of health and vitality. You will feel more vital by the end of Saturday than you have felt for months, possibly years, depends where you've been. It is happening this weekend. If you are aware that you would like to do that this weekend, but you are not yet booked, drop us a line here in the comments or email us at the office, talk@oneofmany.co.uk. Have a chat to one of the girls. I think, I'm saying this out loud, I haven't thought to check before I came here, but I'm pretty sure we have a few places left. So if you'd like to come and join us for that, please do reach out. We would love to have you. There is a website where you can go and read about it. Don't know what it is. Maybe oneofmany.co.uk/replenish. Check it out. Maybe it's there. It's happening this weekend. And the women, we've got 150 something joining us this weekend to go deep on this retreat. And we will be turning ourselves on. We will be finding what brings us joy. We will be getting those habits of looking after ourselves in place so that we can get to replenished and stay at replenished longer. And I'd love to have as many of you come join us as possible. Oh my God. That's right, Helen. It doesn't matter if it's short term. Go for the buzz. You're right. A lot of people are like, oh, well, I can't do that. It only gives me a kick for a short term. That's it. If you wonder where the long-term joy comes from, it's doing. Annie Stoker gave me this very important coaster a few years ago. Do more of make you happy. You want to know the secret to happiness? Do more of what makes you happy. Okay, and there is a little bit of digging out the shit from the past. We do all of that in Living the Change, right? We've got that covered for you. We could do it in many, many places. But then, do more of what makes you happy. And I'm taking my big pink pen and going, do more of what brings you fuck off great pleasure. I might add that for the next month. Let's see where we get to. All right, well, I've had a good time. feel like I need to go and have a little lie down after that. You ladies have brought me great pleasure today. Oh, thank you, angels, for being there. Have a fabulous week. I'll see you for next Tuesday's Lunch and Learn Live next Tuesday. Until then, I want to see lots and lots and lots of juicy, pleasurable things being shared in the B1 Global Community or the Hearth if you're in any of our programs. And I'll see some of you this Friday and Saturday with my training team to go deep dive into replenishment. Lots of love to you all. Bye. I can never find the finish button. Here we are. Ciao, ciao.